Welcome to Sustainable Sailing.
This is the first of a set of videos on short tips for refitting your boat sustainably.
And when we say sustainably, we're thinking about four things. First of all, environmental sustainability, which is very important in these times of global warming crisis. We want to make sure that what we do is as sustainable environmentally as possible. But then also we need to try to keep it physically sustainable. We're not getting any younger, and we need to consider our physical health as we do the job so that we are fit enough to finish the job. Mentally, we also need to make sure we keep things sustainable mentally to get to the end of the job. And we don't have unlimited finances, so it also needs to be financially sustainable.
Without thinking about the physical, mental and financial aspects of sustainability, we can't achieve the first one, which was our primary initial goal of caring for the environment and not contributing further to the disaster that is climate change. And so in this video we're going to think about something that is so basic to boat refitting that nobody seems to talk about it. And that is the ladder, how you get on and off your boat.
If you are thinking about an environmentally sustainable refit, you're probably going to be choosing an older boat, and your refit is probably going to be quite lengthy as there will be lots of work to do. So a good ladder is going to be much more important than you might think.
And that length is also affected by the other aspects. If you're going to want to care for yourselves physically, you're not going to push really hard to get it done instantly. If you're short on finances, then you need to stretch out the refit so that you can spend money as you earn it, rather than either borrow or assume that you've got infinite savings at the beginning.
And your ladder will be something you use every single time you go to your boat. You'll be going up and down it more times than you would like. It can't be avoided, unfortunately, when you're working on a boat. So you need to think about what effect it will have on you.
So then we come to the physically sustainable factor, the bit about our bodies not getting any younger and taking care of. And so the ladder is critical, and there are loads of health and safety videos about the rules regarding ladders. Most ladders that we see in boatyards break most of the rules. So we want to say that the ladder needs to be obviously sturdy. Anything that's got rot or corrosion is going to be a big no-no. Thing that hasn't got good feet to sit on the ground and be secure is a big no-no.
And the more comfortable the rungs are for you to walk up and down, the better, because you will do it so many times.
Even in colder places like North Wales, we often find ourselves using Crocs when we're working on the boat, as they're so much more comfortable. And if the rungs are narrow, anything that's flexible is going to be quite uncomfortable going up. One of the common things that we see is people trying to use their boarding ladders and connect up to the boarding ladders with various steps or step ladders or little bits of ladder, and we think this is a really bad idea. The boarding ladders are very thin rungs generally. Transferring from one type of ladder to another part way up is really difficult, and so often people are having to climb up the boarding ladder without good handholds at the top and then transfer over a push pit or lifelines to get onto the boat. Too often we see people with the ladder swinging to and fro as you step onto it. So for those reasons we think a boarding ladder is a really bad idea.
Also, when you're using your ladder, if you're going to have to do it after dark, a head torch is really helpful and much safer. So the safe access at the bottom and the top of the ladder and a well fastened ladder are key.
Yeah. So we've moved from where we first started using a ladder to the other side of the boat now, where there's a much larger clear space behind the ladder. So if we should fall or drop anything, it's much less likely that it'll get hurt in the process. So many ladders, we see people going up them and they're not tied to the boat at all, or they're just tied on one side at the top, perhaps just to stop them blowing away. We've got a picture here of how we lash ours, and you can shake it as hard as you like, it doesn't move at all. And that's really important. If you slip, you're going to jerk the ladder, you might jerk it sideways as you pull on it to save yourself. Make sure that it's tied to something completely fixed and rigid, not to a lifeline, but to a tow rail or stanchion base or something like that.
Even a cleat.
even a cleat. At the same time, position it where you've got a gate. So if you haven't got a gate, about time you thought about fitting a gate. So that you get to the top. On ours, we get to the top, you've got 2 handholds from the gate to be able to grip with either hand and step through. You haven't got the ladder continuing up above the level of the deck.
Then to the mental aspect of sustainability. And now I'm not a person who's good at climbing ladders. And when we went to view boats, there were some boats I didn't want to go on because I didn't feel secure climbing the surveyor's ladder or the positions that gave access. And obviously the ladder at that point wasn't fastened. But if you fasten your ladder securely in the ways that we've been talking about, and you make sure the access is safe and secure, it will give you the confidence you need to use the ladder up and down many times a day. And you will usually be carrying something which just adds that extra bit of difficulty to your ladder climbing, and you need that confidence that you get from the security.
Yeah, basically every time you have something that's a bit of stress or worry while you're doing a job like this, makes you more tired, it drains you. And so if just climbing the ladder is going to be second nature, you're not worrying about it because you've done it so many times, it's always in the same place, it's consistent in its angle, in its way it's secured, then you're just going to be able to do it without thinking about it, and that saves an awful lot of energy.
Finally, we've got the financial sustainability.
Well, we scored quite highly here in the sense that our ladder is something over 30 years old. We've used it at every house we've lived in for the past 30 years, and decided at this house we weren't going to climb any ladders, so it's gone to be permanently at the boat. It's a standard extending ladder and just the right height so that we can non-extend it, which gives every step is therefore a double one. So it's a fairly lightweight traditional aluminium ladder with flattened tread on the tops of the steps, and it cost us nothing.
At this point, we've had it a long time. We have got a souvenir of lowering our mast on our Hirondale catamaran.
So you'll see in the picture that the inner tread at the very top of the mast got bent when it turned out that a Hirondale mast is heavier than the ladder was designed for. So that was an exciting moment that we don't want to repeat. Obviously, beyond the cost of the ladder, that really pales into insignificance compared to the costs of hurting yourself. It's well worth spending a little bit of money if you need to for the safety, security and being able to get through to the end of this refit.
When you're leaving your boat, you would be sensible to lock it somewhere where it's off the ground so it won't rot or go rusty, but that lock will just make it a little bit more difficult for any opportunists who come along and might want to pay a visit to your boat.
Or say, what a brilliant ladder, I'll use it on my boat, and it goes walkabout. So if your boatyard like ours, every time it rains, there's puddles of water under our boat. Resting it on top of something so as it's clear of the ground really does help make it so it's not greasy or corroding. So, ladders. Nobody talks about it. We couldn't find a single YouTube video thinking about ladders. We hope this is helpful in thinking about how you can get your boat to the water in a sustainable way that is good for you, good for the environment.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up.